Hello, everybody. We are back after that quick little stream restart. We've got this race between dahlukeh and Programmatic in our Celeste any percent league qualifier quarterfinal. This should be a pretty exciting race. I've seen Programmatic race a few times, seen dahlukeh race about like once or twice. These guys seem fairly evenly matched, so I think we're going to have a pretty close one in for us today. Now, it looks like at the moment we've got just one player's screen captured. We're going to be working on getting the others up in just a moment. Programmatic has been having some computer issues throughout the night, so we're hoping that he is able to make it through this race without any of those issues cropping up here. We got the cheat prevention in. dahlukeh confirming that he is ready. We have Programmatic saying that he's ready, but it doesn't look like we've got his video feed up yet. Yeah, we're getting that fixed for y'all in just a moment. We're going to have this race right underway once that's done. Both these guys on the optimal PC version, they're going to be able to skip the prologue, do all those demos, bubs, drops, every single trick in this game is going to be at their disposal. You should be seeing them off in just a moment now. All right, so it looks like we've got the video feeds separated now. Guys readying up in the back. We're about to have that countdown, and we're going to be underway with some hot 2D platforming action. Got the countdown going in the back. Should be seeing movement any second now. And here we go. dahlukeh off to this quick little start. And Programmatic as well. Quick reminder, the game is timed based on in-game time, not real time. So we are going to be seeing a fair amount of desync between these two players since it's their in-game timers that determine who exactly is in the lead. So there may be even points where someone looks like they're in the lead, but it's going to be because of the timer disparity. But right off the bat, just some nice little prologue movement. Nothing too complicated here. Just continuously hopping, trying to build up a little bit more speed. As we're going to be moving right into Forsaken City, getting this run underway. Let's see what these guys have in this first little stage. All right, so dahlukeh off to a nice start. Meanwhile, we seem to be having a slight issue with Programmatic side. Not exactly sure what's going on. But dahlukeh's still having a pretty nice Forsaken City. Meanwhile, Programmatic is getting his video feedback online. Not sure exactly what happened there, but we are going to go ahead and resync their timers for y'all, since they have that pretty big difference just because of whatever happened to happen on Programmatic screen. It looks like both of them making some clean moves throughout Forsaken City here. Oh, Programmatic not quite able to get high enough to get the crystal here. making some nice movement afterward. Pretty well forgetting about that mistake, not letting it get under his fingers. So now we've got the timers about synced up. And as we can see, Programmatic has a mild lead going into these later rooms here. And so now both of them approaching some of the hardest movement in this first chapter. First, the spike hop. Both of them getting it nice and clean first try. And then, of course, this long wall climb up to the boost. Programmatic with a slightly less optimal boost. And with that, it looks like dahlukeh pretty well catching up and resulting in a near perfect sync. Oh my God. That is incredible. Less than 0.2 seconds apart right now. dahlukeh finishing with a 140.096. Programmatic with a 139.926. That is just incredible. And so now we got dahlukeh moving right on along with Programmatic right behind him on old site. Both of them getting this nice little cutscene boost. Steve O'Broyle subscribing for 13 months. Thank you so much for your support of the Global Speedrun Association. Can we see some GSA fire in the chat for 13 months of subbage? That's pretty impressive, if you ask me. Just like their movement up to the battle and chase. No real mistakes. Programmatic looks like he has a slight edge just due to that timer difference. Yeah, but now he's got the lead to show it. All right, nice and clean movement through these somewhat treacherous sections at the beginning. The real fun hasn't quite started yet. Programmatic not even opting to thread the needle, just gonna go ahead and go right before the first, but dahlukeh threading that clean needle through the battle. And now we got Programmatic finishing off this last room. dahlukeh just behind. So now, both of them moving through this pre-awake section. Programmatic getting a little bit bopped by that little ledge there, but dahlukeh saving just a little bit of time. Getting over it a lot cleaner. Programmatic getting all his momentum stopped by a corner, though. And dahlukeh following suit. What is happening in this awake section? dahlukeh not getting any height before that pretty tall wall there. This is just a little bit of a mess for both of these guys. Programmatic a little bit cleaner, going to be saving a little bit of time, but no more than a handful of seconds ahead, moving on into the Celestial Resort. And so now both these guys are going to be getting started with the initial sections here. Got to get a couple keys, and then we're going to make our way over to the huge mess for those nice 3 cleanup sections. Both of them with the fake sync key gets. Programmatic with about a 4-second lead or so due to the timer. As we've got... Oh, Programmatic dashing right into the Dust Bunny. Losing that lead. Just a one little error there. And we've actually now got a co-commentator in the booth. Please welcome Troy of Athens. How you feeling, my man?
I'm feeling good. You know, I was just hanging out, setting up some files for other speedruns that I do, and I was like, wait, this is soloed? Let's change that.
Yep, unfortunately FC Racers wasn't able to make it for this comm. But glad to have you as my partner in crime in this booth here. Pretty close race we've got, as I'm sure you saw while you were in chat. dahlukeh with the unfortunate spike death there, missing the wall bounce. So it looks like you came in as Programmatic is claiming a little bit of a lead, moving on into the huge mess section. Kind of perfect timing, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, it figured like it was, you know, I saw like it was a bit of a down moment. Figured I'd jump in, and yeah, Programmatic still able to keep the lead right now. Navigating big mess, both of them. Both of them getting some pretty good movement to Shiro.
Yeah, a couple small momentum stops here and there, but nothing really to complain about. We're now moving into these Dust Bunny cycle rooms. Oh,
Ooh.
dahlukeh just barely clipping that one.
Yeah, these dust bunnies can be kind of annoying sometimes. Just barely getting in your way, and you're like, well, that's it.
Yeah, and some of them just move way too quickly. Like,
Well, they're always the same. It's basically the idea is they will quickly move to their end spot and then stay there for a little bit and then move to the other spot. So it's not like you just have to get to it while they're in there, while they're stuck on that one end and not while they're moving between the two positions.
yeah, and anytime you're trying to go for the dash whenever they're moving, it becomes way, way riskier.
Yeah.
Oh, dahlukeh, not even sure exactly what he was trying there.
Ooh!
love
I'd
that.
imagine. Oh yeah, he's trying to get the corner. He's trying to do a corner like grabbing. He's trying to grab the corner on from the below to get a jump off of that wall.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, which is a good way to get some height there. I guess a bit of a variation on doing a wall bounce off of that wall.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Programmatic with some very clean movement and towels, going to be advancing very cleanly here.
Yeah, dealing with that for so long is gonna allow Programmatic to gain quite a lead.
As we move pretty close to Demo Dash here. Hoping that this goes well, but this could very easily turn this lead around should Programmatic experience a little bit of trouble with it.
As dahlukeh actually taking some time to navigate through that room with the key. Always annoying is once you fall down that not many people know of any good backups, so you kind of just navigate kind of slowly to the next room.
Programmatic with
trouble.
2 demo fails.
Yeah, okay, able to get in the third. Luckily
Third
took the
try
checkpoints.
Yeah, that could have lost him way more time.
Yeah.
dahlukeh gonna have an opportunity here to make up some pretty significant time should he get this first try.
Yeah.
And he nails it, of course.
Yeah. And of course, in huge fashion of what you've noticed is you take not first try on the screen on demo dash. It allows you to do first try on the next screen. They look completely contradicting that and allowing him to do first try on the next screen.
Yeah, he's not letting the relief of getting demo overtake his senses. Getting through that room very, very cleanly. Okay, both of them deep in their Oshiro chases. Getting into some late rooms on Programmatic's side.
Whoa!
An early death from dahlukeh, but a death nonetheless.
Yeah. That was just some awkward dashing. Programmatic able to finish out Chapter 3. Finishing out, I think that was like 8:20. I thought I saw 8:27, but 8:25 and 4:47 on that chapter timer.
Yeah, that's not too bad at all, honestly.
It's not the greatest Chapter 3. You know, it's not about the little things right now. It's just about staying ahead of your other of the other player. Both of these players, realizing, they're not playing too well right now, but it isn't about that right now. We're just about beating the other one, winning.
Yep. And I mean, this is the first time that we have seen this solid 20-second lead in this race. So here's hoping Programmatic is going to be able to hold on to it. But if dahluke's got something to say about it, could be a little bit in the opposite direction. And so we got dahlukeh with some nice movement. Programmatic, though, with a spike death in the Archie room. Oh, dahlukeh as well. How?
Yeah.
Both of them. That is just upsetting.
Right. Whenever I see this chapter, it always reminds me of the lessons that I have to teach you, Electric.
Oh boy.
Because there are, this chapter has so many places that I could really help you out and learn some good tricks, because you got all the areas with some good wall bounces, this screen here with the good ultra, and the spike bounce, the spike jump that we had saw earlier as well. So like all of those mechanics are right in this chapter, ready to be used easily. And so, like I said, I don't necessarily want to teach you the whole run. I just want to teach you the little things, just the little tricks along the way, so that you understand what's going on in every like second of this race.
Well, I will definitely take you up on that offer at some point, because
Yeah,
I mean,
just let me know.
watching the way these guys move through is just like it's wild.
Yeah, our Programmatic deciding not to go for the ultra on that screen, just taking the classic approach. dahlukeh also doing that. Learning that ultra on that screen is ridiculous, and I do not look forward to the day when I try to figure that out.
Yeah, it just looks so swaggy whenever people pull it off.
I do run Celeste, but not nearly as much as these guys. I more run other games. I have a 46 in this game. It's not good. I admit, it's not a good time.
Hey, everyone's got to start somewhere. Meanwhile, dahlukeh, though, starting that room with a death, unfortunately. Programmatic making some really, really nice movement through Golden Ridge. I don't think we've seen really any huge mistakes. And Programmatic reaching the end with a 2:56 chapter time. So now we got Programmatic moving into Mirror Temple A. Let's see what happens here. Some pretty tricky movement going on. Luke also joining him, not too far behind.
Ooh. Programmatic having a little bit of trouble with the red bubbles.
Yeah, I'll take for that reverse hyper strat over that spike jump gap there.
Yeah, it's a fun one to do.
Reverse hypers in general, they're just like, they're such a wild strat.
Yeah, they're cool. They're really easy to pull off, actually. What isn't easy to pull off is a yeet, though. And Programmatic, oh, nearly having it. Had the corner bound jump. dahlukeh pulling it off. Yeah, see, once you get that corner jump, you're still not done. You gotta do a few more things with quick dropping on the next screen so that you're actually out of the way. So dahlukeh gonna gain some ground, managing to pull off the yeet.
Yeah, and Programmatic, meanwhile, struggling to get a grab on that dash block, causing him to lose some more precious seconds. Luke having to deal with kind of a weird cycle here on the tape. But is still going to save. Looks like about like 10 seconds or so on Programmatic. That's pretty incredible. But moving into 5B now. Pretty significant test of strength at the game's movement here. And especially we've got the Bubs drop coming up. Programmatic already having to take a couple extra tries in the demo. Let's hope that that luck doesn't carry over to the Bubs drop.
Opting to go for the reverse bub. Oh! Not gonna get it and gonna go for the retry. Both of them going for the retry.
Yeah, honestly, I really think this is the better decision. I see so many people just going ahead and skipping out on it, but the movement after is so slow. If you get it that second try, it's... Oh! Okay, Programmatic is going to get it, but dahlukeh is in kind of a dangerous position here.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from, but this game goes by in-game time, and in-game time-wise, it actually is, I believe, up to 2 seconds faster to actually just keep going.
Really? I didn't realize that on a first
Yeah.
try fail.
Yeah.
Wow, I
As
thought it still
opposed to
saved time
do
on
it.
first try.
You see, like, there's the. It's like I believe it actually does save time to keep going, as opposed to going for a second try.
That's interesting. I never realized that, huh?
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Not by much.
obviously the menu time doesn't factor into it, but I always thought the movement from the beginning wasn't that slow, honestly. At least compared to like waiting for the orb to travel all the way across.
Am I wrong? I thought like chat might be telling me otherwise, but I'm pretty sure like I've heard that before. That. Yeah. Oh.
I could believe it, but also, I mean, that orb
Spike
is
jump.
super slow. Just like dying on these spikes, super slow for programmatic.
It's such an annoying strat, that spike jump, because that is different from other spike jumps, where and I could. It's just so helpful to know it. Basically, spike jumps are typically just you move away from that wall the entire time, so you're holding the button that's away. So in that case, left the whole time. But instead of doing that on that wall jump, you're doing a neutral wall jump off the spike wall. So once you get to the area, you let go of all buttons and are just flying to the left and based off of momentum, because you want to get that neutral wall jump so you don't fly off too far and hit the other spike wall. So you gotta do a neutral one, which just makes it a lot tighter.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and Programmatic dealing with the gauntlet, able to get through there. I
Nice
believe
and
that was
clean.
their first run through that gauntlet, so.
Yeah, I don't think they took a death there. Nice movement through this next room. The impossible room coming up here. Programmatic making it look like child's play.
Yeah. But we gotta do. Programmatic deciding to wait for the death cycle instead of doing the entrance cycle.
Yeah, the entrance cycle in the color room is so hard, honestly.
Look and go to the. Oh, what?
Oh boy. Okay, at least Theo came back, but man.
I love the physics in that area. It is so confusing what Theo is actually doing, and so that was just some lucky physics that allowed Theo to launch back to him instead of having to go into that area.
I've never seen that. That's ridiculous.
I have seen some clips of some crazy physics that happens there. I'm not entirely sure what's going on to allow that, but in some ways it's just like the perfect storm. Other times it just causes some hilarious stuff of Theo just getting stuck there, bouncing back and forth over those spikes,
Yeah,
and you're
I've
just
seen
like,
that one before.
and I'm just like, Theo, please stop. Like, I need to grab you.
We got dahlukeh showing off. Just he's not happy at all with that Temple B. You really can't blame him. Programmatic already making some significant strides in reflection, and yet his timer 30 seconds behind dahlukeh's. Luke has some ground to cover up, but certainly not impossible just yet.
Okay, dahlukeh going for the leg skip.
Nice Kevin block movement so far from Programmatic. Okay.
dahlukeh managing to get some ultras through. Yeah.
Yeah, Programmatic with some nice movement, getting into the bumper
Nice.
section now. dahlukeh also making it into the bumper area. This bumper movement is both so clean looking, but it also just looks so hard to pull off.
There actually is quite a bit of freedom with how the bumper will throw you. Like you don't need to be perfectly on the right side to get a bumper to get the bumper to hit you to the right. It actually is a few degrees of freedom with that. So, like you notice, like they can go a bit higher than that and still get put to the right. So it is slightly easier than you're making it sound, but it is still very difficult. Especially if you're trying to go for to get the extra distance off of reflectors. And that's where like you can get some speed and also like save a bit of time.
Yeah, probably the most ridiculous one that I see commonly is when you bump into a bumper, so it deactivates, and then you dash through it, and then right as it activates, you're like right on the edge of it, so you get bumpered out of it.
Yeah, that's the strategy used for top route.
It's just it's insanity.
Yeah. Programmatic able to get through and do battle line boost. He also had taken the checkpoint on the developer intended route. That is something important to note. So they made that a bit easier for himself. dahlukeh going for battle line boost now as Programmatic is just dealing with battling.
Yep, working his way into this fight. Just kind of a steady little progression here.
Yeah.
Got a lot of rooms that honestly one kind of blends into the next in a lot of these cases.
Honestly, this movement is so satisfying to do. Just all like the little dashes just work out so perfectly.
Yeah, Programmatic really making short work of this fight. dahlukeh not so far behind himself though. Also making some moves on battling.
It really is like such like it is essentially a dance that you're doing between you and battling of just constantly doing the most optimal part of your strategies so that you can get to battling in her next position.
Yeah, I mean it all just flows together so well.
Mm-hmm.
We got Programmatic getting into some of the longer rooms here where deaths will be especially costly.
Yeah. Gonna enter the second half. Which the second half of the battle and fight, which we say, but really this is like only a few more.
It's kind of like just the last quarter of it. I mean, there's still some really long screens, but
Yeah, it's just a good marker.
Most of it's behind you. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is just a good marker.
God, it's insane seeing people get that text box at like 18 and a half minutes or something just ridiculous like that.
Yeah. Seeing people being able to get sub 20s out of this chapter is crazy.
Yep.
That's
Programmatic.
what you need in order to get those 27s.
Yep. Now, Programmatic working his way through the final room here, handily dodging these lasers. Beautiful boost strat there. He's going to be working his way on up to the level up.
I do like dahlukeh's choices there on the end of that screen. Choosing not to do certain ultras or hypers or wave dashes, whatever you want to call it at that point, because he knew that he wouldn't beat the laser. So it was very smart of him to be aware of that so that he wouldn't die there.
Oh, yeah. Great awareness from both of these players. We've already seen a couple of really nice backups. Yeah. And so, Programmatic, though, moving on into the summit. Let's see what he has to offer here. Has a nice lead built up, but if he decides to kind of relax a little bit too much and slump off a little bit in a couple of these later areas, he could lose significant time and maybe even that full lead to dahlukeh. Now, we got a resync coming up for you guys, just so you can see exactly where the guys are relative to each other.
Yeah, it is going to be a pretty large lead that you're now going to see. That Programmatic is going to be able to build from this. dahlukeh still in the cutscene of 0 meters, and Programmatic starting 500 meters when we're going to let dahlukeh play again.
So now the resync done. You kind of see exactly where these guys are at. Programmatic a prologue and a little bit of 500 ahead. So yeah, exactly like you said. Like this, just a few deaths from Programmatic, especially in the flag section and like some of those really heavy checkpoint avoiding areas. Like you could definitely see the lead being made out there.
Yeah, it looks like a section and a half, but really what I would call about a section, because the sections get longer as you go further. So
yeah, the Golden Ridge one is just especially long.
Yeah, so this is a bit, yeah, about a section, maybe a bit less of what I would call a section, because there's like, I usually count like 15, 25, 2000 and 2500 as like the ones that you really matter. So that's like the distance that if it's that big, you're like, okay, you know, like if it's bigger than any of those areas, you're like, okay, this is probably pretty much the whoever's ahead's game to win. But if it's shorter than that, then it can definitely be a possibility.
Yep. And Programmatic making some just beautiful movement through the stream block section. As dahlukeh making some plays in Forsaken City, having to take a retry a little bit earlier here.
Yeah, still about a section apart. You know, dahlukeh finishing out 500 while, so, you know, starting 1,000 right when Programmatic starting 15. So.
Programmatic already taking a death in 1,500. Not going for the Aurora demo.
Yeah, and this is where it's really going to potentially swing in dahlukeh's favor, because already seeing Programmatic dealing with the death here in this long room, that's not gonna help him, certainly. It's gonna allow for dahlukeh to make up some of that distance right now. Another long screen. Death here would cost him quite a bit. Able to make it through.
Yeah, Programmatic making some beautiful progress here in Celestial Resort.
Yep. But here you can see that the distance definitely has been shrunk maybe a little bit. It's hard to say it again. Sections aren't the best time marker, but they work. That Programmatic finished out 1,500 after dahlukeh finished out 1,000.
About a 25-32 on that cutscene skip from Programmatic, so let's see what exactly dahlukeh is able to pull out here. Programmatic in probably the longest of these revisit sections. I mean, this Golden Ridge section is just huge.
Yeah. I mean, especially with just the auto-scroller areas, that's really what makes the distance. Because, like, this screen, I'd say probably not much bigger than that longest screen, 1,500 meters with the quad hyper room. It's probably not that much longer, but it's the idea that it's just essentially an auto-scroller, and it's this giant, just expansive nothingness that you have to deal with.
Right. Programmatic now also having to deal with spikes. dahlukeh in 2,000 as well, less than a minute behind. Is going to take that death there. That could extend that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. dahlukeh slowly making it to where Programmatic is right now.
Programmatic with that beautiful stamina save. Wow.
Yeah. Generally, you can easily get through there. Like, make it to the other ledge and just land on there. But sometimes you grab the wall. dahlukeh going for bounding under the terrain. And that is unfortunate, because that is, at this point, what is making it so that dahlukeh was not able to catch up. Taking that death there unfortunately keeping him at the distance that he has been away from Programmatic.
You know, Programmatic moving on through 2,500 meter.
Not quite able to get the wave dash off of there. And well done on getting that key skip early. On the first try, I mean. And yeah, see, if you just hold right off of grabbing that wall, you usually just land on the next ledge. But sometimes you don't. If you just do it a bit wrong.
And a door skip from Programmatic. And one more quick one, and we're on our way out of the revisits. Moving on into the flag section. All right, now dahlukeh with the nice little key skip. Programmatic into flags now.
Gotta go for door skip. No problems.
Absolutely, got to validate that run.
Yeah.
Programmatic just having some beautiful movement through this initial summit climb. Just moving on through like there's not this huge downdraft just trying to push you down constantly.
Well, yeah. What we gotta do. And getting the spike jump there on the second try. Not quite able to do on the first try. That's the fun things of downdraft. You can do spike jumps off of spiked floors.
Yeah, the wind adds a couple of kind of interesting mechanics.
Yep. That always is the idea. It's basically just if you're getting shoved into spikes by some sort of environment or momentum or whatnot, and it's not your own doing, it just doesn't count. So you can jump off of spike floors because you're not pushing yourself into there, the wind is.
Yeah. Programmatic getting past that somewhat danger zone of flag 13. Right on along now. Not giving dahlukeh that much of an opportunity to catch up, unfortunately.
Yeah, Programmatic looking to be able to take this one at this point. So he goes into number 6. And dahlukeh is still dealing with the teens.
Yeah, it's pretty much all about his ending movement here on these pretty precise last few flags. Especially the feather movement can be a little bit wonky. See if he's got what it takes, though. Wall grab, 2 dashes. It looks good to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, some nice movement going on up into flag 1. And finally going to be reaching this summit with a very low 31. Not a bad run from Programmatic at all.
Yeah. And we got another Archie Gaming player going into the league with Programmatic. Getting a 3106.9.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful to see. Really, really nice. Pretty clean run. Couple of tricks giving him some pretty consistent trouble, but overall, Programmatic was able to power through. And oh man, dahlukeh with the unfortunate spike death on flag 4.
GG from Programmatic. For Programmatic there, that was really, really well played, and dahlukeh not going to be too far behind. Skipping flag 2. Gonna take that risk and finish out here. Looking to be, oh no, and gonna take the death and come back to flag 3.
Taking that kind of weird dash, gonna go ahead and just retry, reset up.
And here I thought that flag 2 skip wasn't gonna be a punishment, but it was.
Yeah,
Okay,
flag 2
still-
normally doesn't have too bad a movement, but in this
Yeah.
case, dahlukeh just not putting up with it too well.
There it is. Okay, getting it that time with the flag 2 skip done a second time. Yeah, so this is looking to be about a 32 3x.
Not too
31.
shabby of a run either, honestly. About a minute and a half behind, not bad at all.
Yeah, would have been only a minute behind if it wasn't for that flag 2 death. So yeah, both of these players playing pretty well, keeping it pretty close together. Just some mistakes coming out from dahlukeh that managed to put him behind, unfortunately.
Hello?
But we do have the players coming in here now. We got dahlukeh and Programmatic in here.
Hey.
Hey.
GG. Congrats
GG.
on the win. Looks like you got a nice 31, low 31. So yeah, nice work.
I'm very satisfied with that time. The only,
good.
really the only bad chapter in that entire run was 5B, which was really bad, but
Yeah,
I
could say
think it would have
similar.
PB'd with a decent 5B, but
Wow, nice. Yeah. No, I yeah. My
is that you,
favorite.
Troy?
I mean, ultimately, I feel like you guys both gave a good fight. Like, you were able to keep within keep in a pretty good distance of each other to the point where it could have turned if that any major mistakes were pulled by Programmatic.
Yeah, like I think after 5B, I pretty much resigned myself to like not getting there. Like I didn't know if like Programmatic U4 we know could have had 10 bump jobs fail, but honestly like it's hard to believe he had a worse 5B than me. So I managed to then like pull out an IL for 6A, which was pretty nice. So I was happy about that.
600, yeah, that's very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. I'm sad it wasn't a sub 6 journal time. It was like a 556 or something, but.
A 556 in chapter time?
Yeah, I think something like that. So
I think I've only gotten that once ever, so nice.
yeah, just needed. Like obviously can improve it, but yeah, and then Summit had the death at the end of flag 2.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Did you skip it?
That's what. Yeah, he skipped flag 2, ended up at flag 3. He skipped it both times, but was able to do it in the second
Like
try.
my strat, I do skips it, and like it's very rare I die in flag 2, especially that like I ran out of stamina on like the last bit of it. I don't know. I must have done one more jump than I was prepared to, but anyway, it was just very sad.
Yeah, would have been probably around closer to like 9-0x, 9-1x maybe.
For sure, yeah. It was a pretty solid summit. Obviously, the auto scroller skip, I messed up a couple of times, which I could have done a bit better, and there was a few other mistakes, but it was overall pretty solid. It was just that last death that really put it in.
Yeah, not even considering it. It's really chapter. Yeah, just chapter 5. Yeah, 5 really. That caused the distance. No, I'm talking about the difference between you two, not necessarily your individual runs, just the race itself.
Yeah, like obviously
it looks like chapter 5 was really what caused it.
Yeah, I think chapter 5 also just looking. I've got the stream up. It looks like Programmatic also had a lot better chapter 3. Mine was just had a few unfortunate deaths. But yeah, definitely. Like I felt like I gave it a good effort. I was unhappy with chapter 5. The rest I was pretty okay with. So yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, it's just something to work towards to potentially getting into the next season because there is that chance. Programmatic, though, you're gonna be making it into the league.
Yep.
Congratulations.
It's gonna be interesting. I'm probably gonna be the slowest runner in the league, but.
Hey, we always gotta have. You always gotta have the underdogs, you know.
Yeah. Hopefully, I have a functioning computer during the entirety of the league because it was actually kind of a miracle that I was able to run right now because 2 days ago, I think, I wasn't able to run because my laptop had just stopped working entirely. I couldn't even turn it on. It wouldn't give me any lights or anything. And earlier today, I managed to power it on. It doesn't have a battery in it, doesn't have a DVD drive in it. I can't unplug it or else it might turn off forever.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's pretty
works
good.
at the
Pretty
moment.
good.
So,
I like it.
At least it works for
It's
the
not-
moment.
It is
Inspiring.
no longer a laptop. It is a desktop PC that you have.
it's a very small desktop. Yes.
It's like you can't unplug it. You can't bring it anywhere. It is now exactly where you put it.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if I can safely put it to sleep.
Yeah.
That's not gonna be great.
I'll cross my fingers here and hoping that you can do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we can help Programmatic out with getting a good PC for this stuff. But until then, I guess just prepare in some ways for that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe start learning it for other consoles or something. I don't know.
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably just get like a desktop eventually and run on that.
Yeah. That's what I got. It's good to have.
Yep.
So with that is probably gonna end it for tonight. I mean, definitely gonna end it for tonight. That is the final race for today. Thank everybody for joining us. We do have tomorrow. Will be Tyrone versus Tylotech for SMO, starting at 2 p.m. So that'll be good. That'll be good to see. Yeah, I also have another Celeste race that'll happen. One of the semifinals. No, that's the last quarterfinal. Yeah, the last quarterfinal is tomorrow at 6.
Awesome.
Yeah, that'll be Aurora Dash versus Comet. So that'll also be good to see. So yeah, you can tune in for those tomorrow. We always got our commands that you can do in chat, and the new one of the exclamation point Onyx to get free money. I don't know fully how it works. I haven't really tried it, but apparently you get free money from it or something. It's weird.
Yeah, my understanding is you download the app, you play the game every day, and you collect this currency Onyx that if you get enough of it, you're able to actually get a free sub in the channel for it. So it's a pretty decent deal. You don't have to pay any money, just got to give that time into that app game, and then you'll be able to afford with Onyx that free sub to Speedrun. So definitely check out that exclamation Onyx command to explore that, especially if you want to gift a sub to yourself, but haven't quite been able to find the means. One last time, GG's to our runners, and Troy, thanks so much for hopping in the booth. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks for commentating, and GG again.
Yeah, good night, everyone. Or good morning, DeLuca.
Yeah, peace out, everyone, and hope you all come back tomorrow.